We'll do this in one go, one thing, so I'll just do the opener, and that is this. This day weighs heavy on me. Welcome, friends, LostScarf here, and it's time for the vlog, and it is late, and I am drunk on sake an hour ago. No longer drunk, I am sober, and I have a headache, which means I need water. Stay hydrated. Okay, so, life has been hitting me pretty interesting this week. Okay, so last week there was no vlog because I went to Vegas for the Super Bowl, so I guess let's start with that. Actually, I don't know. So, there is a darker point somewhere in this vlog. The question is, do I do it early so that you can skip it, or do I do it at a point and like, well, you can skip it at this point, I don't know. There's probably a smart way to do it, and I have a headache, so I'm not going to do it smart. So I'll just go down the week. Vegas Saturday, well, Friday, Saturday. Now, I have back problems because of the car accident, so it's really crappy sitting in a car for 6 hours. The way my problem works is if I'm moving around, I'm good. If I'm staying still, it gets worse and worse over time. I don't get how that works, but apparently that's how it works. So, being in a car for 6 hours did not work out very well. A cool thing was, there's just this random place on the way to Vegas. It has like a giant ice cream, like, cup thing going on. I think it was called Eddie's World. I think that's what it was called. And it's just in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing else besides this thing. And it's a giant gas station. Used to be an Arco, is my understanding. And it's just this giant building. It's been there for 2 years. And they have handmade ice cream, a bunch of stuffed animals, a bunch of jerky. Like, they have just, like, made their jerky. They just have tons and tons of jerky. They got food. It's also apparently the cheapest gas on the way to Vegas. That's something they try to keep as a thing, is that they have the cheapest gas, so that's interesting. And their bathrooms are interesting. So, I don't know, but the ladies' room, nothing special. Nothing special. The men's room, there's a TV above every urinal. And so when you pee, you guide the game. So, the game is a catch the balls game. So, you got the screen, it's the size of the urinal, and your dick is the controller. So, wherever you aim it, the catcher is aimed so that you can catch the stuff that are falling. So you're just zigzag peeing. That's what's going on there. Zigzag to pee because you're trying to catch them balls while peeing. And obviously, the more pee you got, the longer you get to play the game. That was a thing. That was a thing I've never seen before, and I could not believe it. By the way, a very clever thing they did, which is something I do whenever I play like sim games where you build stuff, is they have 4 bathrooms, 4 big bathrooms. So you got the ladies and then you got the men's. And the way it works is you have just like a dozen bathrooms this way and then a dozen bathrooms that way for the men. Further down, a dozen that way for women. Further, a dozen for that one for the women. So the way it works is one side's cut off so that only one side gets used. That way they can clean that one side. And then when that's cleaned up, then they'll open that side up and then they'll close this side, and then that's how they just do it. So that there's always a clean bathroom. And it's pretty cool right there, because what that does is, obviously, it allows the cleaning crew to clean the bathroom uninterrupted. Because that's the problem with a lot of bathrooms, a lot of places, is just, especially big busy places, is you're going to get interrupted while cleaning and you're just never going to really make it real clean. Also, the chance of tripping hazards with mopping the floor and all that stuff. So, I always like the redundancy of doing just 2 big bathrooms for each side. What always weirds me out, random thought, is why is the women's bathroom always further back than the men's bathroom? I feel like that longer walk is just not a fun time. And, like, guys can deal with that situation. Why put women in that situation where they go down a dark, narrow corridor alone? Like, that's just doesn't feel as safe as if they just had to go right at the start. I don't know why dudes always get the first bathrooms. I'm not sure. Probably because they're, I guess, more dudes, because, like, truckers and all that usually are dudes. I don't know. We're in Vegas, gambling. Scarf bet couple $100 on the Super Bowl prop bets. So I bet on a whole bunch of things. I bet on the coin toss. I correctly got the side that I wanted, but the side I wanted was the tail side, not the head side, and I didn't know that. So I picked heads thinking the side I picked was the head side, but it wasn't, so it lands on tails, which is the side I wanted, but not the side I bet, because I didn't know which side was which, evidently, so I did not win any money there, unfortunately. But I would have if I knew that's what was going on, so oops. I bet that the first, interesting thing was, it was positive money. Like plus 160 if you bet that it would not be a touchback at the start of the game. Apparently touchbacks happen a lot. So first kick happens, it wasn't a touchback, and I made $50. I made that bet. And just a lot of those things happen. I bet that there would be more than 2 interceptions because of Garoppolo, and I was correct about that. So I got money on that. I bet that the first turnover would be an interception. Got that correct as well. I bet that the Kansas City wouldn't get it going at the start, so they would punt their first one, and I got that one correct as well. I got all these things right, just so many different things correct. I also bet that, I think it was like plus a half a point for the first half, so I bet the 49ers for the first half, and they would do low scoring. Got that as well. I also did the whole game. Of course, we know that didn't go well there. I also, because of course the Chiefs win it, I put money on Kittle that he would get a touchdown, and he had a chance, but he didn't really get it. I had just all these different bets. I also bet that the Chiefs would have more penalties than the Niners would, and until that pass interference happened, I had the money there, so that sucked right there. So, all the way up to the fourth quarter, before the fourth quarter starts, everyone knows what I've bet. And anyone else who's bet on the Niners, they're counting their money. They cannot wait to make all the money they're making. I would make $1,000 because I made a bunch of bets that were more centered on the 49ers because everyone at work really likes the Niners. And then the Niners, I guess, got complacent because they let the Chiefs do what they do. Because everyone's counting their money. I'm like, there's one more quarter left, and has anyone been watching the playoffs? Because the Chiefs don't give up. And there's a reason why they're at the Super Bowl, because they didn't give up. And in the fourth quarter, they did not give up. The first 3 quarters they gave up. They really weren't doing anything. The last quarter, they did something, and with that, they won the game. Thing was, it's also on the Niners, because the Niners had opportunities to get scores earlier in the game. They did not get them, and bam. They blew it for themselves. Those who were not watching the Super Bowl at least know that Scarf did not make as much money as he could have made, I guess. That's all you need to take away. So, on the sports betting, in the end, I was ahead a bit. Gambling with the cards didn't go well. But gambling, the first night I gambled the cards, I lost like 200 like it was nothing, which sucked. Usually, card games for me usually go for a long time. Did not happen. So that was not a good feeling, but luckily the sports betting helped out going back the other way. Slots were not very kind either. It's interesting how they keep gamifying the slots. They're gamifying slots more, and also doing cumulative things now. So, there's different ways they've done it, and some of you will be interested in this, some of you will not. And there's a way to put the odds in your favor to make more money. Like, one is every 10... And this is a version I do not like, but people play it. And this is, you play the slots, and as it goes, certain spots will build up a wild. And at the 10th spin, all the spots that have wilds will go off, and then you make whatever money off of that. And so, it's this Egyptian game. It's called Scarab, if I remember correctly. So what happens is people who don't understand that, they'll just play the game and they'll build up spins. And the people who understand that, they, every 10 minutes or half an hour or whatever, if they're around, they'll look at the slot machines looking to see how many spins there are. Because if there's 8 spins done and only 2 left, or 1 left, stuff like that, they're going to go ahead and take that spin because that's where all the money is. The whole payoff is at the 10th spin. You have a chance of making money prior to the 10th spin, but no, all the money's right there at the 10th spin. So that's really what you do. You hunt that down, you look for that, you wait for that. And I've done the same thing too. But sometimes you get a bum spin even with the 10th spin and you don't make any money. You don't make as much money as you put in, which is very unfortunate. And so, yeah, people they'll do that. They'll wait, they'll scout, and they'll do it. And let's say, if you're lucky, because there's only so many machines, you might get one every hour, maybe every 30 minutes. And that one could be $30, $60, $20, you didn't make any money, stuff like that. I'm just thinking about how much I make an hour at work. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to scout for that. I'll do it if it's there conveniently. but I don't need to scout for it. I can just go play other things. And that's one version. Another version is this mermaid game, which I actually just enjoy in general because it's kind of calming and fun. There's a mermaid game where on occasion bubbles will show up on the different spots. And on those spots, if it also lines up with a special thing that combines with it, it becomes a big wild where it spreads out to the surrounding spots. So one spot wild becomes 9 wilds. And so you can make a lot of money there if the bubbles are in the right if the bubbles are in the right areas. Because what happens, the bubbles will float from the bottom. So then obviously if you get bubbles around the earlier spots instead of later spots, you have a good chance of making just a little bit of money going on. And so what people will do is they'll just scout these slot machines to see if there's any bubbles, because that gives you better chance of making money because you have better chance of wilds happening with those bubbles there. It's very interesting that there's games like this. And there's another one now, there's a pirate game. And I actually made money on this one. I made quite a bit of money on this. But there's also a fail to it as well. So the way this game works is there are 25 tiles. So that would be, when you're doing the slots, you got 5 and then by 5 kind of thing going on there. And what happens is whenever you actually get a money-making things, like say like here and then here and here, the tiles that are in those spots go away. Like you still can do the spins there, but they go away in the background. So when all the tiles are down in the background, you get to play a bonus game, a bonus pirate game to make money. And the thing is, obviously the first ones are easy to make because those will happen a lot, but the 5th and 4th row, because most of the time you're going to get the first 3. You're going to get the first 3 columns, but the 5th and 4th column is what I meant. Those are rarer to get, obviously, because you have to get all the way over there with all the slots happening. And so it's always the ones in the back that are last, and it could take 100 to 200 spins to get those. And so I studied and thought about it and looked at the odds and all that, and I'll play them, and I will make maybe a couple dollars, or one time made $100. What's interesting, though, is while I was doing that, I was watching this couple, because they thought they had it as well. They thought they had a good grasp of it as well, where there were only 2 tiles left, but it was in the 5th column. And they put in $100 to get those 2 finally to happen. And then they won $60 back. So they lost $40. And that is the thing with this is, yeah, they put in 100 at 2 tiles left. That's what happened. And they got down to the end and they made 60 back. So overall they lost $40. So it was an interesting concept, and it can bite you. Even when it looks like it's going to be guaranteed money, it can bite you. That's just how Vegas is. But it's interesting how they do these cumulative bonus things like that. Very curious. And they're just finding other ways to gamify. One that was there used to be this Texas Tea game, and they got rid of it very fast because it was take the bonus or play pinball. And if you're any good at pinball, you make the money. I made freaking 300 on that. They made a mistake having that machine, so they got rid of that machine very quick because people who were good at pinball were making too much money on that machine. It's too bad because that was making the money. By the way, there's a Plants vs. Zombies slot machine. There's also a House of the Dead slot machine. There's a Golden Axe slot machine. It's interesting seeing slot machines based on games or just other media. They're like, huh, interesting. And those machines are terrible. They don't never pay money. They're just there to draw a couple dollars out of people. Like, oh, hey, a Golden Axe. And then they lose money. Very unfortunate. That was Vegas. The ride home really sucked. It really hurt. It sucked a lot. Oh, yeah. While I was in Vegas, and here's now we'll get to this point where you can skip it if you don't want, because we're going to be talking about death for a little bit. The one thing I'll say before we skip is, I know death is necessary to give life meaning, but fuck death. It really sucks. It really, it sucks that we have to die. That's the best way I'll put it. It really does. I know we have to, but I hate it. I really do. It's that thing none of us want to really think about. Some people are fine thinking about it. I'm not. I definitely am not okay thinking about it. Bugs the hell out of me. And so we can start the skipping at this point. Go to this time kind of thing to skip the death talk. So while we're in Vegas, my dad's friend calls and tells him that my uncle is dying. And it's like, well, crap, we're in Vegas. There's nothing we can do. And then he tells us, well, he's over at this hospice and all this stuff. Like, okay, well, all right. Well, when we get back, we'll go there. We went there today. Um, and what the sucky thing is, some of it's just how we go out, or just the way things work. Like I don't think did I talk about Kobe Bryant? Like, yeah, dude's like what 40 something, and he died. What blew everyone away is because he was like 40 something. He was someone who was supposed to live a long life and then die then. Instead, he died suddenly in a helicopter crash accident thing. So that's very unfortunate. What's also unfortunate is his daughter was with him. Other families were there as well. A whole family of 3 was there. A husband, wife, and a daughter. I think there were 3 or 4 young girls. It was Kobe's daughter, that girl, and then maybe 2 more. And then at least one parent or both parents. And that's very sad. It's very unfortunate. That's the thing I've heard some people's like, why we only focus on Kobe? What about the rest of the family? Like, this is true. What about the rest of the family? I know Kobe's the big star, but that wasn't the only ones who died, and that's really sucky. A bunch of people died abruptly. And that's the fact of just life in general. Is a bunch of people die abruptly. A bunch of people die way early, tragically. Let's talk about cancer, though. So this is what happened to my uncle is he got colon cancer, he beat it. I forget what the second cancer was, and he beat it. He got cancer a third freaking time. And he didn't beat it this time. It spread. He has stomach cancer, and it is all up in his stomach. And he can't beat it. He's losing. And that's very unfortunate. That getting cancer 3 times. Like, the only explanation you can have is just, it was the one cancer, and they destroyed it, and then it went to somewhere else, and it grew there. And then they destroyed it and went somewhere else, and it grew there. That's the only explanation, because he doesn't have it in the colon, he doesn't have it in the second place. It's all in the stomach. So it was metastasized, I guess. Or he just got it 3 times. That is just awful. It really is. And so he was this big 200-pound, maybe even more, big, tall guy. That's who my uncle was. And so, and I know that since he's near the end, he's not going to look like that. And he was a skeleton. We go there, and he's a skeleton, and I just can't even comprehend. Well, I can, but it's just hard to, where someone so big can become something so small. And it's just F's with your head so bad. And it's F'ing with mine. Mortality and all is just such a scary thing. And just, it sucks. It really sucks. Because that will be, like, the great fear, like, when you become an adult is, one of the fears is watching your parents become something like that. You're watching, because when you're a kid, you're like, they're bigger, they're stronger than you, they're all these things. And at some point, they're going to deteriorate, and you're going to see that as an adult. And that is a scary thing. It's a scary thought, because my dad is a giant man. He is big, he's strong, he can bench 415 like it's nothing. That's actually an impressive amount of weight, if you don't know about benching. And he's in his freaking, he's 61 now. He ain't gonna be like this forever. And it's scary. And it bugs me so much. Just seeing my uncle, seeing him a skeleton, seeing him he had a hard time talking. He had a hard time moving. He could barely eat. He could barely drink. And my dad was just begging him to keep fighting, because my dad doesn't want him to die. He wants him to keep trying. And I don't know. I don't know what can you do? Because my dad's like, don't give up. That's what he just kept saying. Don't give up. I was like, shit. I learned from my sister, though, because these places, my sister's a CNA, and she's looking around, and she's just seeing just how, and she could tell that these CNAs at this place, they don't care. And she could tell that they're just not doing a very good job, and so she knows my uncle's not in a good spot at this place. Like, they're not changing him enough, they're not turning him enough, things like that. Like, things you don't think about. just hearing that from the relatives who were there, like he has a special inhaler. Apparently, it's been stolen, and just all these other things have been taken. So like it's not a good facility he's in. But they just take it because it's the facility he's at, and just what the shit? Why can't we just be immortal? Why can't we? Well, things have to die because obviously we have to eat things. If everything was immortal, well, then we wouldn't be able to eat. But then again, if we're immortal, we're not eating, so we're not to worry about that. I'm not thinking straight. I would like to not die. I would like that. I think I would really like that. People are like, well, life would get boring. Like, would it really? I think we continually live in interesting times where things just because we keep learning and progressing and evolving. Now, you could argue that we'd stop evolving if we're all immortal because we don't have to evolve. And yeah, that's a good argument. So that would suck. So I don't know. Maybe we'd still, because more generations will get born and born and born. You could argue overpopulation, but I think at that point, if we do have a big population, we would just colonize the space. I don't think space. I don't think we'd ever get bored. I think we would continually keep making things and be interesting. But I don't know. I would rather not die. That's just me. I would really rather not. I'm so very scared of it. Any day now, I could have a midlife crisis over this. I was a lot lower than when I got to the vlog because I realized I can't just make this vlog entirely depressing. Just try not to. And so, it sucks. It really does. Oh, the last bit. The other scary part is my uncle never married. He never had kids. He didn't have any of those things. And that bothers me a lot because I'm 33 and I am single and I don't have any of that. I've said this before, I thought I would be dating, maybe married by late 20s. I thought I'd have kids by 30, and I'm not there, and it bugs me a bit, and it really eats at me, and Jesus. These vlogs are me to talk, and they're my therapy, basically. And it's just very troubling. It's very troubling. We're trying. We're trying to be more out there, more social, and hopefully we find something. Find someone, something. Hopefully. Now, the other thing to talk about, and this will be after death. We're not at death anymore. Another sad topic, but not that topic, is I had to see a doctor today, so double whammy on the sad things. I saw a doctor today. It was about my back, and this guy is an expert he's an orthopedic, so that's bones. And he did all these movements and everything with me and all this stuff to evaluate what I got, and he looked at the MRIs. And he was like, yeah, that's a really crunch spot you got there. Because one of my discs, well, I guess disc and disc, say this is the nerve, and these are the spinal discs. And here's what's going on. Like, normally they're like this. Here's what's going on. They're squeezing the shit out of the nerve. And so, that's from the car accident. So he's like, yeah, that's not going to get better. That's never going to get better with time. No matter how many stretches, chiropractor, any of that stuff, it's just not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. So we should do surgery. I'm like, well, shit. So I'm like, all right. I asked as many questions as I could think of. And I was like, if I don't do it now, he's like, well, then down the road, you're gonna need it even more. It's fine right now, but it's gonna get worse later. I'm like, shit. And it was like, well, what about like an epidural shot or whatever that people say about can you take a shot in the back? It's like, no, it's not going to do enough. It's really not going to do anything. I'm like, shit. I'm like, well, damn. Because what he's saying is he wants to do a procedure called True Fuse. He wants to do that because what it does is it's more of a minor surgery which will alleviate by removing some of the disc because it's a disciotomy or whatever, like whatever the word is for removing. He's going to take some of the disc out, and then he's going to put in some fusings into it so that the disc still can move a bit, so I'll still have some flexibility. Because what he's saying is eventually it'll just wear down the way it is right now, where it's pinched, where it'll just wear down to the point that I'm gonna need rods in my spine anyway. So if I do this, I should not need rods at all if I'm lucky, or it should be later in life, not now at 33 or at 38. So I'm like, shit. So it looks like back surgery is the thing I have to do. And that's scary. That's extremely scary. Like, I've been wanting to become more, like, at 30, I'm like, I want to be more active and everything. And I'm finally doing that, getting way more active, going to the gym like 5 times a week, and then the car accident happens. And I've been wanting to go back to the damn gym, because I know I've been getting better. I've been being more healthy and being less winded, and what kind of luck, you know? That is some shitty luck. Getting freaking, like, there's nothing I control. That's the scary thing. There's nothing I could control about it. I was just stopped at a red light and somebody hits me in the back. I couldn't control any of that. And now I've got a bad back. That is so freaking frustrating. But everyone's saying you should get a second opinion because it's a big decision. So I'm like, alright. I'm going to see this doc again in 3 weeks. See if I can get a second opinion before that, so I can just have more information to think about before I decide to do it. But the way the guy puts it is like, it's just, I should be doing it. I'm like, oh, shoot. Now, if I do the surgery, it becomes 3 months of recovery. 3 months in a brace. In a brace that I should not take off. Which means, how the hell do I take a bath? Also, I have to sleep in. Like, basically, I'm going to be a Ninja Turtle, I think, for 3 months, is my understanding. Just, it's there, because it's there so I don't twist. It's there so I don't bend over, and I can't remember the third thing. And so I don't do any movements that would affect it, because obviously, after surgery, it's going to be a soft spot. It's going to be potentially just any wrong movement could wreck it. But I should be able to still do work, because my work is mostly walking around and looking around, not really, not really lifting or bending or anything like that. Of course, I think my boss will just be like, just stay in bed or just sit down, don't get up or anything, so I don't risk it, kind of thing. I'm sure my boss will say that. I should just take the time off. The lowest points, as far as energy goes, or just attitude, should be in these vlogs, because sometimes just dark times. Hopefully I have higher energy for the LPs and such. Next LP will be Doom 2 when it comes out in March, and then we'll do Animal Crossing. Right now the LP is Life is Strange 2, which is going to take some turns. Being what's the word here? Being a mix of Mexican and something else, and playing a game where the characters are a mix of Mexican and something else, it hits at home in some ways, especially the racist parts. And, there's points. There are points with that game where I'm just not happy with the game. It's an interesting LP. There's nothing more to say. Before I start rambling, life just keeps going. Just keeps going. Just gotta go with it. Just freaking A. Bad luck sucks. That's the vlog. This isn't really about fun. It's just like, here's what's been going on with me, and just interesting stuff about slot machines, and there are things you just don't want to think about, and then there's just bad luck and stuff like that. So that's the vlog. Next week's vlog probably will be heavier, I hope. Probably, I hope. If you got to the end of this thing, and some of you will, and those of you who do will most likely want to know this, the next Phoenix Wright LP will begin Saturday. The LP will be Saturday, Sunday, Monday nights. Not the first Sundays, because I'll be still doing improv. But those nights are when I plan to do that LP, and it's the first Edgeworth spin-off game. So we're still doing those voice LPs, and they'll just come out at a different time eventually on the channel, since we're trying to do one LP right now. But we still want to do voice practice and everything. We're trying to do only just one LP at a time on the main channel while we work on special projects. We haven't started the special projects yet, so we're working on another LP for now. That's everything. So that's the vlog. There should be a new Kirby podcast, so check that out. I should have said at the start of this whole thing, and I hope people like the Kirby podcast, because I'm going to keep doing those. Those will be going for a long time. For a couple of years, maybe, I don't know, 5, 10 for sure. There's a lot of content to put in there. But there you go. That right there is the vlog. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.